I got up at 4 o'clock this morning and I've been wandering, being the hermit. Well, not being the hermit now, obviously, because here I am on YouTube. But there was a phenomenal sunrise this morning. The Seth's throat was beautifully slit. Horus was triumphant. And I did a remarkable and empowering sun salutation in honor of Lou. And it was today is a special day. There's something about today is different. There's good new energies coming in, and so I've just been walking down from the mountains through the woods and on my way to the beach to imbue as many elements and as many natural forces as possible into me today. It's a good day for absorption of natural forces and archetypes, and the gods and goddesses are everywhere and they're looking down upon us very powerfully today. I don't know what that is, if it's just me or something, but today is a good day. Now, I want to talk about the idea of the rights of Babylon restored or renewed or honoured. Now, you hear a lot of things about the Babylon being a bad thing. Most of that comes from Christian morons like Bob Marley and people who Rastafarian cult members who worship an aristocratic king in the name of Jesus Christ and the Bible. This is why Rastafarianism is bullshit. And no wonder Sinead O'Connor ended up the way she did. It's just one more Abrahamic religion. So keep smoking your skunk and going, hey, Rastafari. It's the same thing as on your knees in church going, oh, baby Jesus, please help us. But anyway, I digress. Babylon is a term or a euphemism to describe decadence and sinfulness. Where'd that come from? The Talmud. Truthers being absolute, spectacular, uneducated, worthless morons. They hate the Talmud because they're all anti-Semites. But they hate the Babylonian thing because they think, oh, it's evil, satanic, beautiful. And the reason why is we got that from the Talmud. So congratulations on a spectacular double standard, once more indicative of why you're the stupidest people that have ever walked the face of this earth. Now, secondly, the Babylonian rites are to be invoked a lot, actually. And I'll tell you why. Because they're creative forces that play upon decadence. There is nothing wrong with invoking the Babylonian rites in terms of behaviour, as long as it's not all the time. When it's all the time, it's pathological, and this is what happens to aristocrats and things like hellfire clubs and why they become murderers and this kind of thing. In Edgar Allan Poe's story, The Mask of the Red Death, King Prospero, is a prime example of a Babylonian consciousness in terms of its archetype being continually invoked, as would be, say, Caligula in ancient Rome. You can't do it all the time, in other words, but you should do it now and again. Decadence and filth and degradation releases a charge. The charge is fantastic for creativity and good art, and I'll give you an example. The only two conspiratorial books that I will recommend today, there's two of them only. The first one is In God's Name by David Yallop, and the second one is Hollywood Babylon by Kenneth Anger. If you don't know who Kenneth Anger is, you really need to get up to scratch on this. He is basically a brilliant queer from Hollywood. Started out making films about gay Irish biker gangs in Hollywood, in California, back in the 1940s. I didn't even know such a thing existed. I didn't even know there were gay Irish biker gangs in Hollywood. And of course he made the classic and probably the greatest ritual ever consigned to cinema, Lucifer Rising, which is just a staggering piece of work, astounding, both visually, musically, as well as esoterically. Of course, the truthers are all afraid of it because they think it's satanic fun. Anyway, Kenneth Anger, that ends everything for them. Their life ends. They're just like Christians, It's the work of the devil. It's the same thing. And that's why they're useless. And so you look at the great artists. The reason why, say, Crowley did this stuff, and people think he did it all the time. He didn't. He did it when it was necessary for building up a certain charge. And so that's why he recognized the genius in James Joyce. James Joyce, if you saw James Joyce's letters to his wife, Nora, they are beyond explicit. I mean, he makes Joyce, who is the greatest writer in the English language, and wrote the greatest novel in the English language, Ulysses, would make Crowley, his sexual perversions would make Crowley seem like, I don't know, Little House in the Prairie. But yet he was a member of respectable Parisian society, and this is what he was like inside. But he knew that he needed that charge to create characters like Leopold Bloom and Stephen in his books, and Molly especially. Excuse me. Same thing with Crowley. That was a charge. That was a developer charge. This becomes very apparent to you in a recent interview I saw with Kenneth Anger, where he was talking about that the Hollywood films have gone down because there's no filth in them anymore. There's no filth in Hollywood. Hollywood is all fake film stars pretending to be moral and social justice workers and pay people and fighting for civil rights and all this bullshit. That's why their films are all crap. Their films were great when they were scum and when they were filth. Hollywood Babylon, the best, it begins with like the idea of like Rudolph Valentino. I mentioned that novel of the Psyche. He's still working on the edits, by the way. And Fatty Arbuckle is another good example of this, although he was probably innocent actually. But Virginia Wade, what happened at that party in San Francisco is what I'm talking about. The Babylonian elements of Hollywood are very important. This is what attracted Crowley to it. Crowley was an enormous Hollywood fan. Jack Parsons moved out there. There's a charge. There is a charge in Hollywood that gave us magic, movie magic. I had a lady the other day and she wrote me a PM. I can't answer you on Facebook because I'm blocked, but I can read like a cuckold, like a Facebook cuckold, as one of my friends calls it. And she said, I'm a musician and I play in a rock band. Should I do magic on stage? Sweetheart, you are already doing magic on stage. You are already doing it just by playing the music. And that all comes from Babylon, the procession towards the Ishtar gate under the lights. There's a Dionysian aspect to it as well. It's a part of it is to get caught and to be destroyed by it. I know this sounds... See, well, I'm not a Christian, so stop getting out of your Christian consciousness where everyone is good and everyone is nice and there's the sin and there's salvation and there's good people and bad people. It's not like that at all. Human beings are dynamic entities, and if you do not honor the shadow, what happens is the shadow goes whoop and right up your hole and destroys you from below. You must honor the shadow. I don't know why here. There's probably an entity here or something. Probably Mike Damon. Mike Damon right now is probably jacking off to cowgirl porn. Anyway, so Hollywood Babylon, you had in the times of, this is why we find these times like things like the Black Dahlia and that movie Hollywood Confidential and all this kind of stuff about the darkness of Hollywood, the debauchery of Hollywood, gave us the best actors, directors, and films, because the charge was built up. There was an honesty about their dysfunctionality that they didn't hide. And the last of that was probably in the 60s, before these horrible hippies with the flower power and peace and love and all that shit came along and destroyed everything. Another form of Christianity, by the way. And I'd like to teach the world to sing. And so, sweetheart, you are a magician on that stage. Your rights are your performance, and your charge is what you and your band produce. You're already there. You don't have to do anything else on that stage. So, there you go. The Babylonian thing is to be invoked now and again. And that's also things like, losing your temper instead of going, I just lost my temper, I feel so guilty. And then you say to yourself, what can I do with this? Now, how to resurrect this Babylonian Dionysian charge, right? You're in love and someone breaks up with you, right? You are fucked in the head. your mind is going, holy fuck, yeah, that fucking bitch, that bastard, I'm in love, they don't want me anymore. You just think of the charge that's building up. That's the time to get creative. It's the same reason when people have been told, you've got a terminal disease, madam, you've only got so many months to live. What does she do? She immediately starts painting and drawing. See where I'm going? Part of it is to be destroyed. A good example of the Dionysian archetype, who invoked the Babylonian charge, was our good friend Oscar Wilde. He went full on in, and then in classic Dionysian style, he was ripped to bits. Ripped to bits. That's what the 27 Club really is about. That's a Dionysian magic at work. There's no conspiracy there killing people at pop stars at 27. They just are torn to bits. It's the deal you make. It's the deal you make. So, again, once you're not deliberately hurting someone, like, you know, that, and once you're not doing, you know, if you and your friends are get drunk one night or something one night, like, you look at Bowie, his music was amazing when he was a fucking Dionysian, Babylonian archetype. It's fantastic for a while. I was in New York, in Lower East Side, fantastic. Then gone out of it. Got my life together again. You have to honour the shadow, or else, like I said, up your own jacksie. And this is how you do it. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing at all wrong with that, as long as you take responsibility for it as an adult in the rest of your life, and you don't deliberately hurt anyone. If you can find yourself a Scarlet Woman, or a dog man, a man bitch, good luck to you. That's your life. And you're harming no one behind closed doors. And that's okay. Someone asked me about homosexuality and magic. I think that's a phenomenal aspect of it. The forbidden fruit creates an enormous charge. You see, every time, I'm not putting down gays. You know me, I'm fucking Mr. fucking gay friends up the jacksie, metaphorically. I am straight. And the charge in the old days, again, Oscar Wilde, would have been absolutely astounding. This is one of the things I think, this is why I like queers and not gays. And I'll tell you why. Queers have the magical charge. Gays have will and grace. You understand what I'm saying? And there's a great example of what I'm talking about this morning. I shall continue now to the beach on my way as the Hierophant. Later, dudes.